What if I told you that you can fall head over heels in love with yourself? I'm talking that all-consuming, can't get enough, love everything about you type of love. Well, you can. The Self Plus Love Equals Balance podcast is here to show you how. Every week, we'll share tested strategies, personal stories, and invaluable resources to help you take a balanced approach to loving yourself. Here's your host, Carrie, the Balanced Nurse. Let's get to the love.
Hey, ladies. Oh my gosh, it feels so good to be able to say that. Oh my gosh, yes, I am back and it feels really, really good. If you follow me on any of my platforms, you know that I have just celebrated a birthday, and what better way to celebrate than to be able to share with you how happy I am to be here. In January, I was diagnosed with COVID, and so I've been gone for some time. And thankfully, I was able to heal beautifully, but my healing was not just solely from COVID. It was definitely sculpting me with lots of amazingness to be able to further serve you, share lots of reflections, lots of lessons, but I really acknowledged the importance of healing yourself. And I mean, you know that is what I'm all about. But, you know, I had started this podcast, and just, you know, I don't even want to say podcast because it's just another platform, but I decided to share on all the different platforms to be able to serve as an example, you know, knowing that just in my work with women, my magic comes from my story, and being able to connect and relate, you know, with women that are going through similar struggles. And so, you know, they say that the wounded healer is one of the best, and I definitely can identify with that. So I am back. And so in January, it was actually for the new year, I was diagnosed, and it roundhoused me because if you know me personally, I am always on the go. And so it was a huge brakes. If you didn't want to slow down, I'm slowing you down now. And so the experience, I mean, thankfully, physically was not as problematic as it was energetically and mentally. And you guys know from our work together, and I say together because, you know, you're on the same journey that I'm on, that a lot of the heavy lifting that I do is mentally, is energetically, is, you know, spiritual. And so it took me really digging into my toolbox of saying, all right, girl, show me what you got, kind of thing. Because one of the huge struggles that I have as a healer, as a mom, as an alpha woman, as an entrepreneur, as a professional, is knowing, well, I would say receiving, is being able to receive. I am better with delegating. I'm even better with releasing and letting go, which is how I'm able to guide you guys. But receiving for me, because I'm so used to giving, where what COVID did was put me in a situation where I needed to receive. And even if I wanted to be the overgiver, I just I couldn't, right? And so I went through, they say how you have the stages of grief. I went through the periods of like physically not being able to overexert myself, to then feeling physically okay, but still needing to receive because of why, my, protecting my family and just focusing on getting well and so forth. The other thing, with, anybody who's experienced it and to whatever degree, I wouldn't accept the process of isolation, right? In this work, when you're talking about healing yourself and just sculpting into the best version of you, you kind of get used to walking a lonely path, right? In a sense. And I don't identify with being lonely because I don't really feel alone when I'm in my work. There are many times that I could be in a room full of people, and if I'm not aligned, I feel alone, right? So I took the time to really dig in to say, all right, girl, what are you going to do? And I decided, you know what? I'm going to commit to healing on every level. Whatever level I thought I was too busy for, or whatever level I said, oh, I'm going to do that, next year, or, oh, I need this. I was face to face, and it says, okay, so here's what you're going to do. You have to put everything that you've been learning now to practice. And so I started very simply by something that I had and generally do practice daily, in terms of just protecting my exposure, protecting my mind, protecting who I allowed to have access to me. And now it wasn't even from the space of, oh, well, this person is negative or so forth. No, it was from the space of, if I am going to focus on healing, I don't even want to slip up and allow someone else's anxiety or negativity to really bring me down. It's just knowing I have enough heavy lifting to do on my own. I cannot just energetically lift my own stuff and other people's stuff. That served me really well. I was careful what I watched. I was careful what I read. I know that when COVID had just started, I had shared with you ladies a practice that I did. I'm not someone that generally taps into the news. Just in my own issues that I've had as a nurse, not being able to sleep because of, coming home and having the same thing replaying when I've just finished kind of like living through it at work. So I filter myself when it comes to the news in general. I was even more intentional in this space where the beginning of the pandemic, I shared, that I actually looked up good news about Corona. Right. And, getting really focusing and being intentional of somebody has something good to share about what's going on right now. And I really would get my daily dose of something good and positive that was going on during the pandemic. And, without recognizing it then, but most definitely being able to reflect on it now, I attracted more of that good stuff, whether it was through me or through people that I had connected with, people leveling up in their job, people getting to do things that they never thought that they would do, but now they're in a position to where it's like, well, why not? People moving where they wanted to, people getting their dream homes, people making more than what they made in their regular job, switching a whole other career, people getting married, people having babies. I mean, you want to talk about miracles. and blessings during a really, just dark time for all of us. I think because I set my intention of only wanting to know about the good and the positive and the amazing, that I was able to unintentionally surround myself with the same, right? And it was always right on time, always right on time. It's even throughout this process. So yeah, exposure, that was key. Second, was being still. And when I say this, it's definitely coming from a mental and spiritual space, because I was, one of my girlfriends is an ICU nurse, and she called and she's like, Kara, I know that you got this, and I know you're really active, but just make sure that you're really moving, because, the people who are in your age group that are coming in, it's, they stayed in the bed and you got to get out of the bed. I'm like, don't worry. I promise I'm not going to stay in the bed. And I was very intentional about being still in my mind and my spirit, but not being still physically. So I made sure when I got up in the mornings, I made my bed. I did my morning yoga. I had my little goal of my laps that I was taking around my room. And, because these things, generally when we decide that we are going to stay somewhere physically, we are running laps in our mind. We can actually flip that, if we stay intentional, where me having my commitment to this routine, it allowed me to be still in my mind and in my spirit, right? Where I didn't have to entertain what I couldn't control, right? Because I was already focusing on what I could control. And what I could control was what I did in the morning, and having my gratitude practice, where when I opened up my eyes and I saw I was able to move and get up, it's like, ooh, today is a good day. Right? And so it allowed me to really be still in my mind and in my spirit, and even increase. I know we even went through a series of my gratitude practice, and you want to talk about leveling up. I was able to most definitely level up in that area through this experience, because I truly do own that, we all have something to be grateful for, but true gratitude comes when you're able to develop a practice, especially during a time that is really difficult for you. It's easy to be grateful when things are sweet, right? But when it's tough, really tough, and you can still, exist in gratitude, that's what you call true strength and true magic, right? And through this, the main lesson that I learned through my experience was how powerful our minds are, right? Because we're only limited by our mind, whatever it is that we tell ourselves that we can or cannot do. And my gosh, was it hard some mornings, and just days in general. And I really was able to gain clarity in terms of, all right, girl, how important is it to make sure that you are in alignment with what it is that you want? Because here it is where, I'm huge on manifestation, as you guys know, and, we'll talk about aligning yourself with love, aligning yourself with the career, but here it is where when you are already sick, how do you align yourself with what it is that you want, which is to be well, right? Very simply, it's all in the mind, right? Because then the mind is going to guide you towards everything that you have to do. which leads me to my overall lesson throughout this experience is trusting. Trust. I used to be the most suspicious woman that I knew. But learning to trust not only in whoever and whatever your higher power is, but in whatever that is for you, in yourself. Trusting in your power, lady. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was the biggest lesson for me. And so as we move forward with getting back in the swing of things, my focus is, still yet, definitely self-love and helping you on your journey and helping you sculpt the best version of yourself. But sprinkling more so how we're doing that through you being a co-creator, through manifesting, through owning your power, right? And I trust that wherever we go with that, it's going to be right on time for you. I'm just grateful to be here. So listen, again, for all of you that reached out and sent love and support, I am so severely grateful. And I look forward to connecting further. And so whatever platform it is that you are listening on, make sure that you stay tuned, because I'm back in full effect. Every week you will have yourself a new episode, and it's coming with homework. So get ready. All right. Until next time, keep doing your math differently. Bye.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of Self Plus Love Equals Balance. Be sure to rate and review us on whatever app you use to listen. It goes a long way in helping others find our community. Until then, remember to do your math a little differently and love yourself.